Alright. This is going to be a quicker video, and it's mostly because it's way easier to make a video about this than about an entrance, about like cafes and restaurants, all that kind of stuff, a gift shop. Just keeping it easy now. And that's pathways. Pathways are very easy for us because we've been looking at what kinds of pathways do smaller zoos use, and the best thing we can do is go with like concrete pathways. Like make them smooth, make it easy to traverse, easy to clean. That way people with wheelchairs or that don't walk that good also have like a chance to just walk throughout the whole zoo. We don't want to make it like, yeah, here's a map of the zoo, and here's a map of the zoo for people with wheelchairs, and there's like red lines on it where you can't go. Don't want to do that. Very easy. So another thing with pathways is you don't want to make them all straight and end them at one point, because that way you get like dead ends in your zoo. And yeah, you can say, oh yeah, we're going to build way back there and we're going to do that. It's easier to remove the pathway than to work with people that are like, yeah, but now I'm stuck here. It's almost like in a Planet Zoo or Zoo Tycoon game. You don't want to have like straight paths and with the dead end, because you will see that like visitors are heaping up at the dead end. We don't want to do that. So all the pathways will just lead to back to each other. So you will have like a circle going that way and then one that way, but also in between it goes back to a central point, and you have like crossroads and like little signs saying this way you go to the elephants, or I say elephants, they are not in the plan. But that way you can have like a more coherent zoo. And if we want to build like an extra part on it, yeah, we just remove like a part of the pathway and we go with an extra pathway. One thing that all the zoos and people I talked to said was do as much as you can on your own, and let agencies do like stuff that you can get fined for. So for example, like a pathway, you can do it yourself, but a playground, let someone else do it, because if it's wrong and you get a fine, you can go to that agency and say, yeah, you did it wrong. Giving you like more freedom because you don't have to pay a fine. Simple. The thing with pathways is, like I said, you can do it yourself. I talked with people that are in construction, like friends of mine, like old classmates that I see it, and I was like, hey, yeah, we're planning on building a zoo. And he was like, oh yeah, I want to help. That's first, because he remembered me from grade school, and as I said, I talked about it in grade school as well. But yeah, that's something I really wanted to do. And he said like, yeah, just know that the moment you see something and you think this is something I can do with stuff I can get at like a Gamma, a Praxis, or any kind of construction related store. I don't know them for England or stuff. The Americans, Lowe's. If you can get the stuff there, you can do it yourself. Just go on YouTube and find like DIY concrete pathways, and you can find like almost kids doing a pathway and how it looks, what you need to do. And I've been doing that. And he was laughing at me like, yeah, you need to do that. And like a week later I saw him again. He was like, yeah, how's it going with your zoo plans? And I was like, yeah, I'm learning how to pour concrete pathways. And he was laughing his ass off. He was like, yeah, it's for the better. If you need to have enclosures built and it needs to be safe and sturdy and in the ground, you can let us do it. But otherwise, do it yourself. That's it. But yeah, pathways, make it all connect to each other. It's easier to destroy a piece of pathways and make a crossroad there to another part of the zoo than make like a dead end and people just be confused at the end of the path. So yeah, concrete pathways, make everything accessible, do it yourself. That's the whole video, guys. I hope you know a bit more about pathways. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. That's the whole video, guys. See ya. Hey guys, I have to reshoot this video because I made a video about the entrances and I put some sketches in there, but the moment I looked back on them, they look like gibberish and I don't really know what's in there anymore. So I'm gonna do it with like concept drawings I found online and just show and tell about everything that that's in those pictures. So one of the ones I showed before, and I had you guys ask, what do you like? And there were so many different answers to that, and I wanted to be more clear on that. Um, this is one of the concept drawings I had in mind at first, but I want to do a little different. Or at least at that point, I was like, yeah, it's going to be kind of like this. So at one side, you have like a big glass part, which could be offices or the gift shop, probably offices at one side, and then you have the entrance stalls almost, like you walk through there. And at the other side, I would have thought maybe like service point or something that people with a wheelchair could go in there and be like, hey, I can't really fit through there. We have a button and you press it and you can go through to the other side and go into the zoo at that point. So that was the idea with this one. One person also said, I think it was Niels, it's long ago, or at least long ago. I make like daily videos, so at this point I don't remember who's answering which question anymore, unless I see it or I scroll back, but there's so many videos in between that video about entrances and this one. But I think it was Niels. He said, yes, this concept drawing I really like. And it was, I think, a concept drawing for the Singapore Zoo, which has a huge entrance. And I thought, like, yeah, that might be a possibility. It was almost like shaped like that. So you could say, like, we have the entrance and all the same at one side. The gift shop is at the inside, so at the point going inward. And then you have the entrance and the gift shop combined with like a restaurant or like a reptile house or something like that. So you have that combination at the inside, entrance, and then like offices at the outside point almost. But that's huge. That would cost money. Not like money or something, money. Like the amount of cash that would cost me, I probably won't make in my lifetime. That would mean there would be loans or someone sponsoring me. Please, guys, help a fellow out and get me a sponsor. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff you also need to think about. Like, how attainable is it? And I'm not looking at like just in my lifetime. I also look further into that. But we got to be realistic. So one of the things that was said in that same video was, go realistic and go like for a cabin or something. So I think it's the Zoo of Guam. I saw it like in one photo. It's a very small entrance, and there is it's easy to build, it's cheap to build, and it is low cost, low maintenance. Meaning that it's easy to start with that. Because we need to be clear about this. We don't know the plot of land we will have. We start the company first, make the business plan for that, make the master plan, and go and talk to municipalities here and local governments and talk like, hey, we want to start a zoo. Are you willing to house something like that in the municipality, in your region? And how would you like to have it? Because it's so difficult to start a zoo in that perspective. Like you need help from government, and it isn't like, oh, you need to subsidize me. No, it's they need to be willing to have you around, because if I go for howler monkeys, for example, they are not in the plan, but howler monkeys, that municipality needs to be okay with those. That's a difficult thing. They need to be okay with that there are howler monkeys close by their towns. That if they build like new housing, that they will be next to a zoo, and that zoo will probably have a compost pile and a lot of animal shit, and maybe binturong, so everything stinks like popcorn, or skunks and everything stinks like skunk. You name it, all that kind of stuff. That municipality also needs to think about that, which is very logical. So you need someone that works with you. And sometimes they help you too. Like some zoos get like what's it called, a parking lot, and some they help with like the entrance. But that entrance, it starts small, because you need to work with what you've got, and what we got is this community at the moment, and soon live streams and money from that. But yeah, we need to be realistic with it, and that's something I really want to give you with this. We're gonna start realistic and small, build up. The larger the zoo gets, the larger the entrance gets, the larger the amount of people going in also gets, because the entrance is like the title page of like the paper. You stand in front of the entrance and you know, yeah, that's a zoo and that's what I can expect, kind of. Or with older zoo, you see like the old entrance, you're like, yeah, this has history, this has a soul, a character. That's what we want to build as well. So for that reason, we start small with something like this, and then we build up to something bigger, and to something bigger than that, and to something bigger than that, and not just the entrance, but the zoo as well. So that's the whole video, guys. Please tell me more about what your ideas are. Send me like pictures of the zoos you visited, or tell me like this zoo I visited and I love that entrance. I've seen so many the last few days alone and just saved a lot of pictures of those. But just send me anything. I really love to see what you come up with, what inspires you, what really stays with you. Like this zoo, I went there like 10, 20 years ago. I still remember that zoo entrance. I still remember that because that's the feeling we want to give you. That you will always remember that you went there. Like it doesn't have to be the whole zoo, but just one thing. So tell me that in the comments. Anyway, that's the whole video, guys. See ya. Okay, another masterplan. I'm just filming them one by one at the moment, so I have more time to work on like the big stuff for next week. But another video of masterplan related to infrastructure and cafes, gift shops, all that stuff is going to be very simple. Cafes and restaurants. What do we want to do with those? And the thing I had in mind for those is make them not like a rainforest cafe kind of thing, or make it like there's fake trees in there, all that kind of stuff. We don't want to do that for one very simple reason. We don't want it to be that thematic, almost entertainment theme park kind of zoo. We want to focus on education, conservation, all that kind of stuff, not the entertainment side. And that makes it a little bit difficult because you can't say like, oh yeah, we're going to build a rainforest cafe next to the let's say the South America house. No, we're not going to do that for a very simple reason. We want to keep it educational, all of it. So there's like a couple of cafe like things we want to do. And the things I had in mind, and you can always just say like, hey, this, that. There's like two things I really want this kind of theme. And then there's like a standard restaurant. So standard restaurant, like burgers, chips, or fries, wherever you are from. All that kind of stuff in one restaurant. And make it like a bigger restaurant. And then we have the cafes. So the cafes is gonna be like quite simple ideas. Almost like, I'm afraid to say their name because I might summon them to my comment section. Probably not, because with 1,000 followers I don't have that reach. Like a Starbucks almost, like you have a coffee house. I almost want to say coffee shop, but all my Dutch followers will exactly know what that is. No, we're not going to sell that kind of stuff. But a coffee house, you can get like coffees, pastries, something small. And that will be close to the entrance. So if you come into the zoo, you have like an enclosure that spans from right in front of you to your right. Because I wanted to say left, but everything is changed around because the selfie camera. I wanted to say right, and it was like left on there. But yeah, a coffee house that you can go in, and it's just calming, a relaxed cup of coffee, get a little pastry with it, a croissant maybe, something like that, a tiny sandwich, and you can just relax there. It's like you made you traveled all the way to the zoo. You come in, you see zoo animals. There's a lot of ruckus probably with the entrance because there's kids screaming like, I want to see the monkeys, I want to see this, I want to see that. You can go in there and you can just de-stress for a moment. And some people really need that. If you like, I went to Groningen. I'm filming this like a couple of days after that. I went to Groningen and it was like 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 50 minutes even. And we were just in the car, and at that point we went there, we got to the zoo, we just walked in. Can we go to the toilet? And they were like, sure, go ahead. And then you go right back there, and you go to the staff place, and you just both get a cup of coffee. And Darling just went off to a tea museum, which was lovely, and I went there way before. I knew she would like that, and they had the time of their life there. And I just worked in the zoo. But the de-stressing point is something that I think a lot of zoos miss. If you go to burgers, you go through the entrance, you see penguins, you get the gift shop. And then there's like a tiny, tiny coffee corner. And that's something we want to miss. Yeah, sorry, my earpiece fell out and all the mic is in here as well. So for that reason, just a little break in there. But yeah, we want to have the de-stress factor in there as well to make it more easy for people to adjust to. Hey, I'm in a zoo, and it's just going to be a calm day, and we don't want to make it like something big. That's like final part. Coffee shop. I said it. No, we're not going to do that, Dutchies. Um, then there's the second thing I want, because there's one thing I said, and it's thanks to Parks and Recreation. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and for me that means that the breakfast foods are the most important thing of the day. I want to make a Denny's. This sounds really weird. Like one of the because we want to represent all the continents on in the zoo at one point or another, and it doesn't have to be like 14 animal species, because when we start with the animals, I will show you like the graphs and the whole list of animals. Um, like one part, like Europe has like 7 animals, America has like 7, and South America has like 20. Australia has like 24 or something, because I went very specific with the bird species and stuff there. And like the lesser animals in there, like the bearded dragons, the blue-tongued skinks, the frilled lizards, they're all in there as well. But yeah, those parts are like smaller, but I want to put them in there together. But back to the Denny's. What I want to do is like make a cafe or a little restaurant, and the only thing you can get there is very simple: breakfast foods, waffles, pancakes, English breakfast like bacon, eggs, beans, even. Oh my god, it's a kingfisher. Aw. Anyway, yeah, that's something we want to do. Like have like a breakfast thing that's the like full day breakfast. There are people that are gonna be very against it, and I don't mind that much. But I want to make it like fun for people. I'm more Lord Rob. I'm half Belgian. I have a Belgian passport. One of the things I remember from Belgium, and I go there sometimes too, still, because I have family there. Uh, my aunt had a tiny cafe like restaurant, and all day long they had Belgian waffles she made fresh in store, and that's that vibe of having waffles like for lunch or something. Freaking love it. That's the kind of stuff we want in the zoo as well. I want to have people have that experience of it isn't like rushed. There is not like all over burgers, fries, and like fried chicken. I'm just naming things of burgers menu, and it's not like burgers is doing a bad job. It's just like I want to do something. Sorry, my earpiece fell out again. It's like for some reason this side is not fitting today. I don't know. But yeah, that calming thing, we want to do that. But the first years is going to be difficult, because building a restaurant, getting the staff in there, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be expensive. We are not going to do that. So what I want to do is start off with like a small plaza that you can sit, like make a tent roof over it, picnic benches underneath it, and I want to work something out with like a specific group of restaurants or like eateries or something, and that's food trucks. What I want to see if it's possible, and if you have a food truck or you know someone, ask them. What we want to do is because a food truck it costs money, gas, places to stand and stuff. I want to do something that they have a place to stand in the zoo. Like for example, there's a taco truck on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and the other days it's like a fried truck and one with fish and chips. And that way we have like that coffee is really fighting back. Jesus, I don't know what school's doing with coffee, but it's not good. Anyway, but yeah, we want to do something with that you have the food in the zoo, and also have the ability to eat something, and there's like change in that. So if you go on a Monday, for example, you have tacos. If you go on a Friday, you have Philly cheesesteak, which I love, but it's dependent on what like a food truck company wants to do. If they are like willing to do something like that, of course, because I can't. I'm gonna say, yeah, we're gonna do this. We don't know for sure, of course, and that's how we want to see what we're gonna do. Work together with like the community, work together with people. That's why I love these kinds of videos, because I work together with you. But yeah, that's restaurants for you. That kind of stuff. I'm not going into toilets, so there's no video on that. The rest of the videos this week is just gonna be the answers on what you are asking. And if you, I will post these in the morning. In the afternoon, I will make like answering videos. So, for example, I upload this at 9. Next one is gonna be an answer on like a question in here at like 4, and then there's gonna be one at like maybe 9 in the evening, and then the next day we do the exact same again. But yeah, that's the video for today, guys. See ya. Hey guys, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Like, the Australia part has Australian dishes. I get it. I see potential in it. That's not the problem. That's not the problem at all. But the problem I see is the amount of food items for the dishes you need. The thing is, with breakfast food, you could do like breakfast from around the world. That's something I really like. Like, you have the English breakfast, the American with pancakes. You have this, you have that. You have the Dutch breakfast, which is just a plain cracker with cheese. And all that kind of stuff. But you have a lot of stuff that's overlapping. And that's easier to do. So you can use bacon in one dish and in the other dish as well, and you can use it in here and you can use it in there. You use the cheese in like 3 different dishes, and that's easy. But if you have like restaurants that are, one is in the Asian part, for example, I'm gonna go really cringe here. One is like almost takeaway Chinese Dutch edition. You have a restaurant with that, and then in the Australian part you have one with Australian dishes, so the more the surf and turf kind of style. Then in the North American stuff part you have a steakhouse, for example. Do you see how many different ingredients you would need for all those recipes? That's the problem, or at least the problem I see, because that costs a lot of money. If you have like overlapping stuff that isn't the same in every restaurant, that's what we go for. That's what we try to do. That it's quick and easy to make. Ingredients are overlapping, so if you use chicken in the one restaurant, you use chicken in the other as well. Same cut of chicken in this case. Keeping those costs low because you buy in bulk. And that's the thing I'm looking for in restaurants in this case. The 2 things I said are definitely not like looking at same kinds of ingredients, because one is like a Starbucks and the other one is a Denny's. So not really in this case, but within that restaurant you can do the overlap with the different ingredients. But I like the idea you have with use like themed restaurants or eateries or coffee houses or anything like that. That might be really nice. I don't know how, but we might be able to do it. So yeah, keep the ideas flowing, because I really like making these videos. So thank you for the question, thank you for all the comments. Anyway guys, see ya. So I saw this yesterday and I laughed my ass off. Okay, so a little bit of background. Last video we talked about, the video this comment was in, we talked about like building a coffee bar, coffee house in the zoo, and pair it with luwaks. Luwaks are kind of civets, and you might know them from the coffee luwak. These civets eat coffee beans, poop them out, and people roast those beans and make coffee out of them. The idea is that you have the coffee house, and next to it you have those civets. And you just educate people about fair trade coffee, where does the coffee come from, how is the coffee with luwaks made, how ethical is it, and all that kind of stuff. And you link the coffee bar to those civets. But the idea of that, it just got me laughing so hard. I really love the idea, and I'm thinking about how could we shape this. So the first initial way I see that you can pair these two together is with sleep, making like a viewpoint in the coffee house that you can sit and you have like panoramic view over that enclosure. That way you can see the animals and you can also enjoy a nice cup of fair trade coffee, because I want to go for fair trade, organic, all that stuff, look at what the best option is for the environment, nature, climate, and people. People, planet, profit. Some people might know it from school. And like in the menu you have like extra education about the coffee. Like, oh yeah, this is a Peruvian coffee and this is what happens in Peru that helps these animals, or these are threats that things are having on Peruvian animals. And this one is from Indonesia, and that's where the luwak is also from. And you can look outside and you can even see them. They like to eat coffee beans, and then you have the whole story. That might be something. The thing is, we haven't really designed the zoo yet, so that's all depending on how big the plot of land is, all that kind of stuff, what we will do with that. So we shall see. That's the initial thing. We shall see. But yeah, this is an idea I really like, and now I'm thinking of other animals that are related to food in the same kind of way. Because this sounds disgusting. Some people think it's very disgusting. But one thing I learned from working with kids is that kids love this kind of fact. They don't even drink coffee, but they like the idea that someone drinks coffee made of cat poo. Even though it's not really a cat, as if it isn't a cat. But that idea is like, oh my god, they drink poo water. It's amazing. Kids love that. They love that disgusting little thing. They think that's amazing on many occasions. There's always kids that don't like it. There's always adults that don't like it and do like it. So yeah, that's the whole video. I thank you for this idea. I will see if we can work something in there for it, because this might be a really fun thing to do. So thank you for this comment, and thank you all for liking, commenting, sharing all the stuff the last few weeks, months. We're not working years, but thank you all for the support. It really means the world to me, and see ya.